Again, good morning, everyone. This is Nilofer ma'am. I am explaining you chapter 4 of civics. Topic of the chapter is key elements of a democratic government. So in the first part of the video, I have explained you half chapter. In that one, we have discussed about some elements that were related to democratic government only, the participation of people in the process of government, and now in this video, I will explain you the remaining chapter. So the next topic which we are going to discuss, that is need to resolve conflicts. Conflicts means to fight each other, means to fight with each other. In Maya's story, you read about how conflicts can often lead to violence and death because one group decides that it is alright to use force to prevent the other group from protesting. So, in Maya's story, we have read that how conflicts can often lead to violence and death, and because of that, only Hector was died. Because by the violence, one group thinks that they can dominate the other group, they can make them stop from protesting. Conflicts occur when people of different cultures, regions, religions, or economic backgrounds do not get along with each other, or when some among them feel they are being discriminated against. So, when conflicts occur when people of different cultures, religions, regions, or economic backgrounds, they do not get along with each other, they do not meet each other often, and some of them feel that they are being discriminated against. Then also conflicts occur. People may use violent means to settle their differences, and to settle their differences, people may use the violent means. This leads to fear and tension among others living in an area, and it leads to fear and tension to the people who live in that area. The government is responsible for helping to resolve conflicts. Let's read about some of the conflicts in our society and the role of the government in resolving them. And what is the responsibility of the government? The responsibility of the government is to resolve the conflicts. Now let's read about some of the conflicts which we can see in our society and how the government resolve it. Religious processions and celebrations can sometimes lead to conflicts. For example, the route a procession takes may lead to a conflict. So religious processions we all know that it is a moving group for a purpose. So when religious processions are there, celebrations are there, so they can sometimes lead to conflicts. People can fight with each other because of it. For example, the route of a procession takes may lead to a conflict. The government, particularly the police, play an important role in getting representatives of concerned communities to meet and try and arrive at a solution. So at that time, the police takes the responsibility of that, and at that time there is fear that violence may erupt with people throwing stones or trying to disrupt the procession, because at that time there is a fear of violence. People may throw stones and they may try to disrupt the procession. So that time the police gets in action, and they meet to the representatives of concerned communities. The police is responsible for ensuring that violence does not take place, and that is the responsibility of the police only, that the violence should not take place. Rivers too can become a source of conflict. Now you all must be thinking how rivers can be a source of conflict. Yes, rivers also can be a source of conflicts between states. A river may begin in one state, flow through another, and end in a third. So a river can start from one state, it can flow in the second state, and it can end in the third state. The sharing of river water between different states that the river goes through is becoming an issue of conflict, and the sharing of river water between different states can become an issue of conflict. For example, you may have heard about the Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So for example, you may have heard about the dispute that was between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu about the water of Kaveri river. The water stored in Krishna Raja Sagar Dam in Karnataka is used for irrigating a number of districts and for meeting the needs of the city of Bengaluru. So the water of Kaveri river is stored in Krishna Raja Sagar Dam in Karnataka, which is used for irrigating a number of districts and for meeting the different needs of the city of Bengaluru also. The water stored in Meter Dam in Tamil Nadu is used for crops grown in the delta region of that state, and the water of same river is stored in Meter Dam in Tamil Nadu also, which is used for crops grown in the delta region of that state. A conflict arises because both dams are on the same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled up if water is released from the upstream and located in Karnataka. One located in Karnataka. And why the conflict arose? A conflict arises because both dams are on the same river, and the downstream dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled up when the water will be released from the upstream dam that is located in Karnataka. Therefore, both states can't get as much water as they need for people in their states. This leads to conflict. The central government has to step in and see that a fair distribution is worked out for both states, and therefore both states cannot get as much water as they needed at that time, and it leads to conflict only. Then the central government has to step in and has to take the decision that a fair distribution of water should be there between both the states. Here you can see the picture. Quite flows the Kaveri despite being at the center of heated conflict between two states for the last 30 years. And you can see that there is a dispute between two states because of the water of Kaveri, and Kaveri flows quietly in both states. Now let's see the next topic, that is equality and justice. Equality means a same behavior with every person, and justice means the positive result after a protest. One of the key ideas of a democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice. Equality and justice are inseparable. So one of the most important key element of a democratic government is its commitment towards equality and justice. Equality and justice, they cannot be separated. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. This group of people were denied education, transport or medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. So in the earlier time in India, untouchability was there. Now it is banned by law, and the people who were under this practice, they were denied to get education, they were denied to get transport or medical facilities, and even they did not get the chance to offer prayers also. Dr. Ambedkar, whom you have read about earlier in this book, and many others like him realized that such practices must not continue, and that justice can only be achieved when people are treated equally. So Dr. Ambedkar, about whom we have learned in the previous chapter also, and the other personalities were also there. They realized that these type of practices must not continue in our country, and if we want to get justice, then we have to treat people equally for that. The government also recognizes this and makes special provisions for groups within society that are equal, and the same thing government has also recognized, and the government made special provisions for groups within society that are unequal. For instance, in our society there is a general tendency to value and care for the boy child more than the girl child. So for example, we can see that in our society there is a general tendency that there should be more value and care for a boy than a girl. This means that society does not value the girl and boy child equally, and this is unjust. And by this we can understand that boys and girls are not treated equally, and that is unjust. In this context, the government steps into promote justice by providing special provisions that can enable girls to overcome the injustice that they are subjected to. So in that case, the government has to take an action, and they have to provide special provisions so that the girls can enable to overcome this injustice which they are subjected to. Thus, it is possible that fee for girls might be waived or lowered in government schools or colleges, and because of it only the fees might be waived or lowered in government schools or colleges for the girls only. So this was our chapter 4, key elements of a democratic government, that was participation of people in the process of government, equality and justice, needs to resolve the conflicts. So I hope the chapter is clear to all of you. If still any confusion is there, so you can ask me on the WhatsApp also. I'll meet you in the another explanation video. Till that, keep learning, stay home, stay safe. Bye bye everyone.